Hi friends, I have a bit of a haul that I want to share with you. So hold on, let me get the rest of it. Yeah, there's more than I thought. Gotta organize it. I went to the thrift store and got a few things. I just did. So first I'll show you the clothes. I am slowly replacing tank tops that I have had for many years and need replacing. So I got this kind of like a mauve, if that's the color we would call it. Burgundy. It's not really as deep as a burgundy. This I just loved, because who doesn't love Whitney Houston? This is like an Anthropologie shirt. For me, it just looks super comfy, flowy, which I enjoy, especially when I'm downtown walking around. It gets hot, so you need airflow. Excuse me, a cat just went into the clothes pile. Hopper. So I also felt the same way, the flowy way about this one, and I really just like, it's like a sleeveless with a collar where I can wear maybe a long sleeve underneath it if it gets that cold. So big into layering. When you have problems regulating your temperature, layering is your best friend. I also found this shirt, Atlanta Braves World Series Champions 2021. I think I may end up giving this to my friend, but we'll see. She probably already has one. And then I hit the book section. And the first one I got is I think this is a middle grade. This is A Long Walk to Water by Linda Sue Park. I've wanted to read her. Naya goes to the pond to fetch water for her family. She walks 8 hours every day. Salva walks away from his worn-torn village. He is a lost boy refugee, destined to cover Africa on foot, searching for his family and safety. 2 young people, 2 stories, 1 country, Sudan. So it's a dual narrative, one in 2008, one in 1985, with one hopeful message that even in a troubled country, determined survivors may find the future they're hoping for. Sounds really good, and that she covers all that in that little of a book. I first heard about this one at a reading retreat. Al Capone Does My Shirts by Jennifer Cholneko. This is about Moose. Moose's family moves to Alcatraz Island so his father can work as a guard and his sister can attend a special school in San Francisco. He has to leave his friends and his winning baseball team behind. But it's worth it, right? If his sister Natalie can get help, maybe his family will finally be normal. I think this starts a series as well, a middle grade series. So I'm excited about that. I can't remember who I heard talk about this. I think it was in, I was doing sprints with someone, and someone talked about they were reading Jules' memoir. This is Never Broken. And yeah, it just talks about her life. And her first album, Pieces of You, came out in 1995, which was my teen years. And so I have always been a big Jewel fan. So I'm excited to read that. And you guys know I love a good memoir. And I saw a really good, perfect copy of Sally Rooney, Beautiful World, Where Are You? I've only read one Sally Rooney. I read Normal People a couple of years ago. It's got to be more than a couple of years ago. And I really liked it. So yeah, we'll see about this one. This is about Alice, a novelist who meets Felix, who works in a warehouse, and asks him if he'd like to travel to Rome with her. In Dublin, her best friend Eileen is getting over a breakup and slips back into flirting with Simon, a man she has known since childhood. Alice, Felix, Eileen, and Simon are still young, but life is catching up with them. Perfect copy. I think it was like $3, so we love a good thrift find. And I really like the end papers. Okay, where am I putting all these? This one is, I had to get Krista at Books and Jams, loves this book. This is All 13, The Incredible Cave Rescue of the Thai Boys Soccer Team by Christina Turnafat. This is a nonfiction, so I thought it would be a great book to read for Nonfiction November, which is coming up. Okay, that was the thrift store. There were a couple other things I got at the thrift store, but those are presents for others. I had a few other books. When I was talking about Claire Fuller, which was on a tag that I did that was like an introduce you tag, her first book, Our Endless Number of Days, I did not have. It's the only book of hers that I don't have. So I went on Pango and found it. The hardcover, because all my other Claire Fuller books are hardcover, and that's probably one of the only bookish things that I have is I like to have them all in either paperback or hardback. It doesn't always work out, and it doesn't bother me too much. But the hardback of her first novel is like $40 and up, if you can find it. So I got the paperback, which is a beautiful cover. And this is Our Endless Number of Days. Peggy Hillcoat is 8 years old when her survivalist father, James, takes her from their home in London to a remote hut in the woods and tells her that the rest of the world has been destroyed. Deep in the wilderness, Peggy and James make a life for themselves. They repair the hut, bathe in water from the river, hunt and gather food in the summers, and almost starve in the harsh winters. They mark their days only by the sun and the seasons. When Peggy finds a pair of boots in the forest and begins a search for their owner, she unwittingly unravels the series of events that brought her to the woods, and in doing so discovers the strength she needs to go back to the home and mother she thought she'd lost. Sounds amazing. Claire Fuller is a great writer. So I've never tried Kate Atkins before, but I've heard good things about her. I have one of her books, but it's a series or it's a companion, and Case Histories is the first one. So I saw this at the thrift store and decided to try it, see if I like it. Literary fiction is usually my jam, so we'll go with that. This is a nonfiction. This is Good Boundaries and Goodbyes, Loving Others Without Losing the Best of Who You Are by Lisa Turkhurst. This is a Christian living, Christian kind of self-guidance book about setting boundaries, which is... I also got Raven Black by Anne Cleves. I have not read her yet, but she sounds like an author that I would like. Raven Black begins on New Year's Eve when a lonely outcast named Magnus Tate, who stays home waiting for visitors who never come. But the next morning, the body of a murdered teenage girl is discovered nearby, and suspicion falls on Magnus. Inspector Jimmy Perez enters an investigative maze that leads deeper into the past of the Shetland Islands than anyone wants to go. Is this the first? I don't know where this falls because I have watched... Yeah, so this is the first in the Shetland series, and I have watched some of it on TV and really enjoyed it. So I also got The Reluctant Fundamentalist by Mohsin Hamid. I have read Exit West by this author and really enjoyed it, so I thought I would try this one. This is his first book. I also got The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. I've read The Distance Hours by Kate Morton and really enjoyed it. I also have, what's the other one I have? Homecoming, which is on my TBR. When I read a big, very thick book, the way that Kate Morton writes, that's what I want. And I really found that to be the case with Distance Hours. In fact, I remember getting it 2 Christmases ago when I had COVID and just read it and really enjoyed it. Just staying in a story with characters for a long time, that are written well and that are engaging and that you're kind of rooting for them. That's kind of what Kate Morton does for me. In The Forgotten Garden, a tiny girl is abandoned on a ship headed for Australia in 1913. She arrives completely alone with nothing but a small suitcase containing a few clothes and a single book, a beautiful volume of fairy tales. She is taken in by the dockmaster and his wife, raised as their own. On her 21st birthday, they tell her the truth. And with her sense of self shattered and very little to go on, Nell sets out to trace her real identity. So that sounds like a good story that I'm sure Kate Morton does really well. I also got The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James. I have read Broken Girls by Simone St. James and really liked it. And I now have 3 of her other books that I really need to read. So these are thrillers, so I don't really want to read the synopsis on the back. Kind of a story about maybe perhaps a haunted hotel and someone who went missing years ago. So that's that one. And then I just went to an event at my local indie bookstore. They are doing their 50th anniversary. And so I got a shirt. Purple is my favorite color. And so got this. Cheris Books turns 50. And then they had some books on 50% off clearance. I got How to Fight Racism by Jamar Tisby. This is racism is pervasive today, but many people want to see that change. How do we effectively confront racial injustice? Jamar Tisby, author of the award-winning and best-selling book The Color of Compromise, believes we need to move beyond talking about racism to equipping people with practical tools to fight against it. Tisby roots the ultimate solution to racism in the Christian faith as we embrace the imperatives Jesus taught his followers. He provides specific, actionable steps that enable you to be a part of the solution, rejecting passivity and becoming active participants in the struggle for human dignity. Readers of How to Fight Racism will come away with a clear model for thinking about race and a compelling call to dismantle a social hierarchy long stratified by skin color. I'm really interested in reading this and just seeing how this author approaches the very important subject. I got a middle grade that I've heard a lot about. This is Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. Catherine Arden wrote The Bear and the Nightingale, which I also have. At night, they will come for the rest of you. It's with this ominous warning that 11-year-old Ollie and her two friends, Coco and Brian, set out on a chilling adventure in the woods with nightfall fast descending and the ever-watchful eyes of scarecrows on their backs. What had begun as an unremarkable school trip to a nearby farm soon becomes a frightening journey into the world behind the mist. Okay, I don't want to read it anymore. But I do have to give props to the bookstore because they put the sales sticker on the back. On the back. Let's put the stickers on the back. I'd prefer no stickers at all, but I totally get why they need stickers. And especially for small stores like this, the cart was in the front, and in order to make sure they knew which books are on sale. So that may even be this one I might read very soon for Halloween. And then I also wanted to get Mary Shelley. She's most often known for Frankenstein, but she wrote other things as well. And this is the Penguin Classics, and it has a foreword by Rebecca Solnit, who I really like, her writing as well. The landmark novel by Mary Shelley that invented the human extinction genre and initiated climate fiction. Written while Mary Shelley was in a self-imposed lockdown after the loss of her husband and children, and in the wake of the climate-changing Mount Tabora eruption and a raging cholera outbreak, The Last Man is the first end-of-mankind novel, an early work of climate fiction, and a prophetic depiction of environmental change. So it's set in the late 21st century. The book tells of a deadly pandemic that leaves a lone survivor, following his journey through a post-apocalyptic world that's devoid of humanity and reclaimed by nature. So it's kind of like the first dystopian, I would guess. I don't know if there was much dystopian before this, but I know I really like Mary Shelley's writing, so I'm very interested in this. I had seen it. It was first published in 1826, and this version just came out this year with a foreword by Rebecca Solnit and introduction by John Havard. I saw this one day when I was in the bookstore and knew I wanted to go back and get it because I haven't seen it anywhere else. I actually really did not know that Mary Shelley wrote or that her other work survived. So I'm very excited to read that. Oh, and one more, sorry. This was after sometimes when I go to the doctor, I have a bad experience. And what makes me feel better but books? So I remember going to like a Walgreens after a doctor's appointment, and I went to get candy, and I got a book. This is Last Girl Ghosted by Lisa Unger. This is about a girl who met a guy through a dating app and thought that it might be a relationship, and then he disappears where his profile is deleted. Any single woman who's used a dating app to meet people, this scenario probably rings true. And I'm over dating apps at this point in my life, but this has happened before. So I'm kind of curious to see the scary side of that scenario. I think that's it. Most of them were thrift store. There's, some good days to go to thrift stores. I don't know what they are, but I hit this on a good day. And I've got a lot of books to read. I also will be coming up with more of my nonfiction and some fiction that I think I'm going to unhaul. Since starting my channel and going through the books on my shelves, there are some that I just don't want to read anymore. And I just don't have interest in picking them up, or I've had them for a long time and haven't felt the urge to pick them up. I've been pulling some of them out and together. As you can see, there's a big hole right there. That I'm going to show you guys, and maybe you guys can help me figure out what might be good books for me to read. So that's my haul. I hope you're having a great weekend and that you have a great week. Yeah, and if you'd like to support my channel, I'd appreciate if you'd subscribe and click the like button and leave me a comment. I love talking with you in the comments. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.